pleasant Wednesday evening to you. Thanks for being with us. This is the Freddie Kissoon Show with co-host Leonard Craig. We're broadcasting from the office of a cabinet minister that for the past 3 years this program has been in existence, has been very generous to us. This may be his 5th appearance, either 4 or 5, can't remember, but he has never said no to us. In the office of the Minister of Public Utilities and Aviation, the Honorable Member of Parliament and Minister Indar Deodat. Let me stretch over and say thanks again for being here. And I hope in the coming months we see you again. Another 3 or 4 times for the year. That is fine. You've always been nice to this program, and you're one of our honored guests.
Thank you for those kind remarks. But I'm sorry that I didn't get a chance to come on earlier when you asked, but you know the demands of the job sometimes.
Yeah. But I know you would come, you me, all right. Minister, we haven't seen you the second half of last year. You were on the first half of last year, so we haven't seen you. You were assigned to Region 3. You live there. Mm-hmm. What are the memories you have of the 2025 elections?
So 3 and 2, Region 2, 2.
Oh, okay.
So I was campaigning on those 2 fronts. Mixed. That is the word I would use, mixed. So if you recall pictures of the rally in Stewartville, which is one of our big rallies, right? Oh my God. Sorry.
No problem, man. We about this program. Pick up your phone in some
That's somebody decided. Sorry. I should.
You know, I cut nothing.
Sorry. I just keep it just in case everyone will see.
Yeah, the president may call.
That too. Now, in Region 3, when you looked at the Stewartville rally, let's take that one. I was chairing that rally. The party asked me to chair that rally. I could not have seen the back of the crowd. Now, rally crowd and so doesn't always translate into votes. But I can tell you that we have worked in service of people. And the amount of investment that we've put into the country, Region 3, 2, and elsewhere, people see it, they felt it, and they lived it. And most of all, a lot of people participated in the build out of the country. A lot of people literally built roads, built drains, built bridges, built buildings. You name it, they were part of the execution of the transformation in their community. So the mix, when I say mix, there are those also who, I think if Jesus Christ himself come down, they will not be happy.
People.
It's just human nature. So we have worked, and we did not work in a way that was disconnected from people. We walked the streets. I can tell you, Freddie, Leonard, my left knee gave out. It gave out during the campaign.
A young man like you?
Because I was walking communities, meeting people at their houses, on the street, in the park, all over the place. We were connecting with people, hearing from them, understanding what we have done, what we could have done differently, what we could do better, things that we're doing good. You know, you hear it, and when you hear it from voters directly, citizenry, you know that there's no massage report coming to you. You're hearing it for yourselves. Yeah. You're going to the ground where people are squatting. You're seeing how the children they're living. You see how they're living. You understand what his housing needs. You see people who didn't have roads now walking on concrete roads. You see those who have the drainage in front of the yard hasn't been taken care of, and those who those that were taken care of. You see everything. You see the garbage in the community. You see in the streets. You see nighttime. Some parts are dark. Some parts are properly lit because we went on a program to put in lights and so on. But what you got is a mixed view. Generally, though, I can tell you, the vote count proved that we had overwhelming support, because recently you could see we probably had 36 seats. The amount of votes that we got, we have not gotten that kind of level of vote in the history of the party. And we haven't gotten 36 seats since in 2006 when President Jagdeo was there. So we came off of literally a landslide victory. What happened with the opposition is a different story, right? Because we had some grasshoppers, some of them jump from this party into the other one, some jump over here. So you were dealing with a very fluid opposition, but there was one set of ideas being floated around in that. Regardless of which party showed up, the philosophy that we fought against in the election was the same philosophy that they had 4 or 5 decades ago. So it didn't change. Tax and spend philosophy, all about government transfers, nothing about development, nothing about training, nothing about improvement to community, improvement to people's lives, job creation initiative, building the knowledge stock of the economy, nothing to deal with those things. All you hear, like balance of trade, export competitiveness, local competitiveness, nothing to do with that. All they campaign on is how much cash grant they can give and promise people things pie in the sky stuff. So that people saw that. The Guyanese people are not stupid. Gone are the days where you got to read a pamphlet. People on their phone every day now, they have access to information. If they go to the washroom, they have their phone in there. Look, I got my phone here. Everybody have their phone all over the place, and the information follows people now. Sometimes you don't even gotta go look for it, it follows you. Yeah. So you're living in a different time now when you have an information highway. And it's good in some cases, and sometimes when bad stuff is there, and as I say in the countryside, when they go to $1 all the time, the bad stuff keep replicating all the time going. So it's good in one way, and sometimes you have the downside effects. But the last couple of months were a little hectic for me too, because I was appointed minister here for public utilities, the first ministry of this kind. I'm the first minister of this ministry, so we had to build it from the ground up. We had to make sure we consolidate the agencies and everything. Then we ran straight into the budget cycle. Then into the Christmas season when, we got a lot of social activities out there. We do a lot of toy distribution exercise in Region 3 and elsewhere. We try to make sure the country is upbeat too. You don't want to be in a country that, people sulking all the time. The country was very upbeat for the last holiday season. So, you normally had to be out there. So sorry I couldn't come back to the show in the last half of last year.
Never too late, man.
Yeah, you mentioned moving from one ministry to the next and first establishing. What was the thinking behind creating this ministry?
Well, what was said to me by the president when he appointed me, when he called me and he said, I want to do this. He put a couple of options to me, and some of them were not suited for me. But this one, he said, I think that I want you here because we need the big projects finished. We need gas to energy finish. We need to make sure we cut electricity by half, which is a major cost for people in this country. We want the aviation sector to be built out. All of the hinterland airships to be built. Terminal 2 of Cheddi Jagan. We want to build 2 more airports now. One in Rosal, one in Lethem. Then we want to go for an IKO council seat. We have never aspired to these things before. So GCA, we have to strengthen up them. We also wanted to make sure that we increase our capacity in terms of the amount of flights that come in and those destinations that we have going out to. So generally, we wanted Guyana to be a regional aviation hub. And so you need a dedicated minister to push these things. Then on maritime sector, the same thing. He wanted, President said we want the maritime sector to be a regional hub too, because we're thinking about, you have a whole lot of ports that are being built out for oil and gas purposes. But then you have commercial ports. You have dedicated ports like Veshi that deals directly with Exxon and feed operations for that. But then we want the Deepwater Harbor to spur some industrialization in the country too, where you have all sorts of things, which is gas development. You can have industrial area You can have facilities to deal with repacking, reassembling, and all those things in the Berbice area. So we wanted Guyana to be a maritime hub too. So that's the vision of the president.
So under your ministry,
Yeah.
you take in river transportation as
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
and
Air.
river air
Yeah.
and GPL and
GWI as well.
GWI. Okay.
So we have
Public
the water
utilities.
sector. Yeah.
Right,
So we have the water sector. Again, we want to make sure the hinterland have access. As you know, in Region 9 and so on, those other places, you can't, you don't get much iron content in the water. So it's actually from the well, you can actually drink it. I was recently in Karasaba and commissioned 4 systems. But on the coastline, you have a lot of iron in the water, so it's red. So you have to treat that. So we want to make sure we have treated water on the coastline. We are aiming for 100% treated water too. So we've been building out these plants, and so we have to now continue on that steady and quick pace of delivering treated water to people. We have to reduce the losses. So a lot of water is lost through leakages in the pipe. A contractor breaks something, leave it for days. Somebody leave their pipe tap open. Got the water running. So we want to make sure that we cut the losses that goes out there too, so that because it's a huge loss right now. And I don't even want to tell you the figure, how much it is. But it's a huge loss, so we got to get a philosophy in Guyana of turning off the tap. Don't have the water wasting, You go around the place to see it, the pipe is broken, Then we ourselves got some blame to take there. Sometimes when pipes are broken, people take long to respond to it.
Yeah.
So we are trying to better that response. Customer complaint lands, the response time to get it fixed. So you can fix these problems, because if it's a main line and you break that and the water keep coming out the line, the entire pressure for the whole community serves, the pressure drops, as everybody's affected, right? So we have water, electricity. So we have the hinterland electricity program too, which is about 8 companies. You have Letem, Madia, you have Maruka, Maruka is now added. We have Port Kaichuma, Mabaruma, we have Kwakwani, LECI, Linden Electric. So we have 8 power companies that produce power in the hinterland. That falls under the ministry too. But I also, in the last government, I have assisted Prime Minister to assist him with the energy sector. To assist him when I was at Public Works. And that arrangement still stands, where I assist him with gas to energy project and GEA to deal with solar projects and so on, right? So I do that as well, to working closely with the Prime Minister's office, and he's a fantastic guy to work with, So we manage that whole aspect of it. So it's a lot on the plate.
So water is now with public utilities and aviation, moved from housing.
Yes,
Used to be Ministry of Housing and Water.
So it's just Ministry of Housing,
right.
water sectors over here.
I'd like to see your response to this personal problem I have.
I'll fix the personal
Right.
problem, man.
You'll fix it for me? Well, let me tell you what this personal problem.
Once
I
it's
have-
reasonable in nature.
All right. I want to see how you fix this problem for me. It's a personal problem. I do a daily column in the Chronicle, so I know I had this interview, and I started this morning my column. And blackout came, and I left for this interview without lights coming back. Can you fix that for me, please? GPL, you've taken on GPL. That's a huge...
Yeah, but you know what happened, right? It doesn't matter how much I put out information out there. It doesn't seem to reach people in time or at all. For example, I tell them to do a press statement so that press can carry it whenever you have outages. So they have a major operation going on in Sophia right now, right? So some of the feeders are off.
I live near there, yeah.
That is why you're off. Better for Walking, Ogle area, and so all, it's outright. But a major repairs project there, the maintenance they're doing there right now. But they put it out as a press statement. It doesn't get carried. Some people see it, some don't. And so what I got now is some of the engineers now speaking about it, putting out videos of people saying, okay, we're from GPL, we're gonna go do this in your area, you're gonna take so much time, we're gonna do 5 things that needs repairs. So I'm trying to do it differently so that you can go further. But no matter what, Freddie, sometimes it doesn't reach to every intended resident that is affected. So we have to find a better way or maybe a stronger way of communicating. Sometimes we use some of these influencers and so because they got a lot of following, people see it and they share it in groups and so it catch on that, okay, you're doing some work in the area. So, but it's a planned maintenance, and I'm sorry that you had that experience at this moment, but something that, you see, when they don't do
I still got it.
yeah, I know, because
I
they can run till
I
about,
finished my article
it's
yet.
going to be around 3 o'clock, then they're going to
okay.
come back, right? Because there was a period that they had to get it done. You see, what happened is that when a country is being built out, you got to move the utility. And when you move the utility, we don't have live maintenance where power is moving on it and you have people on, because it's dangerous. We don't have that. So we got to cut the power, then move the infrastructure, then repower back. So that is what sometimes when you have expansion of roads, especially in the East Coast corridor, East Bank corridor, all in the communities when they're widening roads, doing drains and so, you have to do that. Because we can't put our guys down there because somebody, you know, might get shocked and you know, and a very, like what happened a few days ago. GT&T was doing something in an area with a high powered line, and unfortunately one of the guys got electrocuted and he died. So we don't do live maintenance, and because of that, you have these planned maintenance. But I must say this to you. Since we have brought in additional power, the 2 power ships, and we made sure that all of the other plants are properly maintained because we got some more power, like 267 megawatts of actual operating reliable power. Our demand is about 221.5 peak. The entire holiday is between 196 to 210 to 15. It never gone past that. When you get blackout these days, it's never because we can't generate the power. It's always because somebody driving something, some machine passed it in, and knocked down something, somebody crashed into something. Sometimes you don't even have to touch the thing. Once you come into the magnetic field of the line, it trips it because it sees it as an earth fault. And it feeds back, and for the substation to protect itself, it shuts down. And that is why you get these problems. Then you have people digging up stuff they're not doing, like Christmas time. In Kingston, a man take an excavator and dig up the water main, the utility main, cause real trouble for us. Coming out of the plant, you know, he put his excavator and he's cleaning a drain and he's digging up all of the main electrical cables there. Real mess. And that's what we're dealing with every day, all the time, everywhere. People with machine, I locked up over 7 people over the holidays for this thing. You know, because of when they do that, everybody else feels the problem. So the maintenance that is happening, we sometimes got to do it preventatively, because when you see that the heat signature is raising in certain things and so, you don't wait for it to trip out and cause a whole line to you. You just give a forced maintenance and you go fix it so that it doesn't occur.
Budget.
Just before you go budget, well, it could include the budget as well. But since we are on electricity, how will the thing project that is happening? I heard the finance minister saying that before the end of this year it should be ready. How will that change what we know our electricity supply to be today?
Okay. Since we became a republic and you have a grid, we have had 69,000 volts going as we call high voltage bulk power. When that power goes long distances, you remember if you have a drop card, the power, the current drop as it go longer distance, right? You know.
Yeah.
Same way with the grid. So if you have bulk power moving at 69,000 volts, and you got to go far distance, you have to keep carry up the level of the voltage so that it reach houses and you don't get low voltage. When we conceptualized the gas to energy project, we said 300 megawatts of power based on the pipeline size, how much gas you have coming in terms of sure supply of gas to power it. We are moving away from fossil. We are moving from HFO, and we're going into gas as a feedstock fuel. So we decided to put
for the viewers before you continue, HFO is
heavy fuel. It's a black fuel. That my shoe. Right? And
something similar. A little thicker than diesel and so.
Thick is bad for the environment, bad for everything. But that is what we use because the engines were reciprocating engines, step-up engines you call it. And for years we've been doing it and it worked for us here. But now we found out they have gas, we're monetizing the gas, we're using it to generate power just like everybody else that have it on Earth. So we have upped the level of the voltage to 230,000 volts now. So it's moving bulk power at a higher voltage so that it breaks down now to 69,000 volts, and then it breaks down from 69,000 to 13,800 volts, which is, in the community you see some wires running, that is 13,800, 13.8 kV they call it. So, now, so first thing is that the bulk power now is moving at a higher voltage. You can go longer distance. So you can evacuate more power. So never before have we had so much of power in one place too. Now all is at Wales. So at the end of this year, there's the last approved schedule that we sat with the contractor. And we had some issues with the contractor before.
Yeah, those were publicized.
And we moved past that. So we said December of 2026, the simple cycle will be delivered. Simple cycle means they have 4 turbines that each turbine will generate 57 megawatts. So you will have 228 megawatts from simple cycle. The combined cycle is using steam as well back into energy system. 2 other major steam turbines will generate the balance to make it 300 megawatts. So we'll get the simple cycle, which is about 228 megawatts. So at December, we want to make sure that now is put into the grid. For you to put that in the grid, it's not a couple of wires put together, and so this 228 megawatts of power. You have to build out substations at Wales, commercial and residential substations, to break down the power to move it across. Then you have to build a substation at the back of Eccles there, at Good-for-Wachty. If you go to New Highway, you'll see some substations there, which is where we put a control center. There now we're going to break down the power from 230 kV to 69 kV, and then we'll distribute it to everywhere. What we have is now a ring circle. We are building between Eccles and the Bagley, Good-for-Wachty, Sophia, and New Georgetown, where that Eagle is. We are building a ring circuit to distribute the power. We are also moving the power from Wales to Hoop, and we already signed a contract to move a cable under the Demerara River to come back to Kingston. And from Kingston, we're building the line 5 from Kingston to Sophia. So you have a ring circuit. So the power is not trapped at any position. We never had this before. What we had is a linear system. So when you get shock in one place, the whole system went down. Power could not have been rerouted. Now we're building that out. And well, right now, the cable under the river, because of the amount of damage, and actually the capacity of the cable can't carry more than 7 megawatts of power. So if you have all that power coming from Wales, and something wrong with the other line that's going there, all the power is trapped over there. So we just went into a contract to put a cable under there to bring over between 180 megawatts to 200 megawatts of power over to Kingston, and then it will distribute again. So we're building out a more reliable backbone of transmission and distribution. That's why they bought it at over 66 point something billion for that alone. Because you need that to have stable power. And the difference between reciprocating engines, when your engine go down, when you have to start it, it starts and it builds up the power. It takes a while to build it up. These turbines, they don't take so long. They work faster. Because injectors, these reciprocating engines work with injectors. The turbines, they work with some gears, like, so the gas goes to a wall and the gears work. They go down and come up very, very quickly. Very quickly. So it doesn't have that, it's 2 different technology altogether.
How much technology are we using in the new grid? So for example, I've visited countries where the power company could disconnect somebody without
We are doing that. We are doing that. You call it smart meters, AMI meters, right? So we are putting in them all across the country. Actually, that's what we are doing. As we build out these transmission systems and the new one, we are putting in smart technology into them. So we know when a community have blackout. Right now, the only way we know when a community has blackout is if somebody call in. The SCADA system that monitors the grid, they can only tell you when an entire feeder, thousands upon thousands of people get blackout. That is when that system can recognize when an area is out. They can't tell you if Monrepo is out alone within the feeder. So if the feeder feeding 15, 20 communities and one enough power because of some transmission or some kind of thing inside the day, or transformer gone or so, it can't tell you that happened there. But what we are doing now with this bill now, we are making sure we put equipment to monitor when an area have blackout. You see it on the SCADA system. That is why we're building the control center right at the back there to help us with that, so that we can be able to understand when communities have blackout. So you don't wait on a person to call. You understand, you see it on the areas out. So you can be able to dispatch people to go and check what's going on.
You sound like an engineer there the past 5 minutes, man.
But I'm working with thousands of engineers for the last 6 years, and you can't be in this thing and not learn. If you be in this thing and not learn, something wrong with you. Yeah.
Budget. What for you is the apex of the budget? Which is the item that you feel characterizes in the budget where Guyana is going?
Well, as a country.
Yeah.
As a country. So I would say it's two things. The budget is split up into capital, and then you have the current side. And in both of these allocations, on the capital side and the current side, there are certain things there that takes priority. I saw the opposition as saying the budget is not for you, or the budgeting and for poor people are working. There are kind of garbage you hear that. They have nothing to talk. But I want to dispel some of that, because my duty, if I don't have the duty to educate people in the country about our government's approach to development, well, then we are failing in that responsibility. And then they will carry a different narrative. If you're educated with the wrong guidance, you'll grow up with the wrong guidance and you'll go on a different track. So it is we have a responsibility to say the fact. So on the capital side, what you have is infrastructure works in every single sector. Whether it's a farm to market road, a community road, a drain, a bridges, whether it's power plant, water treatment plant, whether it's school, hospitals, clinics, all these things, that form the capital aspect of the budget. Running aspect of the budget, which is recurrent, is like wages and all of these other things, but in the running of your country, you have the vulnerable groups. Then you have, in fact, I could go through every single strata of society and tell you something in the budget for them. If you start with the hinterland, our Amerindian brothers and sisters, they have solar in there for them. They have agriculture in there for them. You have schools, you have hospitals, you have cash grant for their children, you have training for all of them. You have every aspect of their life. There is something in the budget to deal with the entire hinterland population, which is about 12 to 14% of the population. If you take it on geographic side, there is monies allocated in every region. But then if you take it from a stratification perspective, different groups of people, if you take let's talk pensioners. Everybody likes to jump on pensioners. I don't know if there is something with pensioners. So right now, the register have about 95,000 pensioners. 95,000. It wasn't that case a few years ago. It has grown. So the charge on the public purse, we have grown it double in the last 5 years. It was 21,000. It was 20,500. It's 41,000 at the end of 2025. We put on 5,000 to it to make it 46,000. If you take that 46,000 per month, I saw somebody says per year, per month, multiplied by 12, then we put a transportation grant in it of 20,000. If you add those two and then add the $100,000, which is the national cash grant, every pensioner will get $672,000 every year. So pensioners. Then you have public assistance. Folks who can't help themselves, folks who rely on the public purse. We have been increasing that thing year on year all the time. It's now about $25,000, right? Old age, what is the other one? Disability benefits. That went up as well too. Children that goes to school, cash grant for them, now $85,000. So that group, all that group. Mothers, first-time mothers, they get something. Women, elderly, and disabled people, I cover those here, right? I'll go back to some of the other things that you're doing for them. Let's take farmers and fishermen. The Ministry of Agriculture have $113.2 billion to deal with all aspects of life in the agriculture sector. Whether you're a man looking at the the coca, if you're cleaning the trench, if you're cleaning canals, if you're building a farm to market road, if you're planting paddy, cash crop, if you're doing fish, if you're doing farm fish or wild caught fish, every aspect of life in there, there is something in the budget for that. So how can you say the budget is not for people? I ain't finished there. I haven't gone to my sector yet. I'm just telling you something about education and health. If you can't go to a public facility and pay money, we have free health here. Look how much of the hospitals we're building. Brand new hospitals, proper hospitals. I go to those hospitals myself. I go to the one in the Kendron. When my knee was giving me a problem, I went there. The other day, something with my jaw, I went there. Very clean, well-kept, professional people. We're building it out. And you don't have to pay for it, so it reduces your cost of living. Education, same thing. $183 billion for education. From ground up to university free. Where else in the world you can go get that, Leonard? You go to the United States, student debt is one of the biggest problems. Canada, the same story. Here is if you're a small country, a young republic, and we are offering our people free education. And if university ain't got the program you want, go have it.
Overseas Guyanese are actually coming back, study at our university.
Go have it. So
yeah.
you're talking about every aspect of society. There is something in the budget for you. So when people say the budget is not for you or the budget is not poor people friendly, so I want to know who's these people?
This $20,000 transportation for our viewers, could you tell us the describer?
Well, it's a new thing.
How it's being operationalized?
So,
is it a cash thing? Or?
Yeah, it's a new thing, but it's something that was promised on the campaign trail. Remember, everything that is in this budget was drafted and came out of the manifesto. We went out and we campaigned on these things. So we
it's
don't
yearly, right?
Yes. That one, the grant is an annual one. The transportation grant
and you're getting it as a voucher or something?
Well, it's part of a cash delivery, so I don't think it will be I don't think we discuss that one as here. But if you're giving cash grant, we normally give the cash grant, the uniform grant. If this one, obviously, will be cash, right? So that 85,000 goes to per child. You understand me? So the name, just find any group of people in society that you believe did not get something, and I'll tell you where they got it. The income tax threshold went up to 140,000. That brings in another 5,000 people within the tax bracket now in paying tax. You are another 5,000. You remember we moved it to 30,000, now gone to 140. We pick it up to over 60,000 or 66,000 a couple of years ago. And it literally doubled. And counting.
Some of those expensive cars gone down now.
Yeah, look at that.
50 cc.
People who normally do mining, they use these pickups to go in there. Farmers use it. People out here use it. Stylish depends on which one you buy. Look, flat tax season. Flat tax for 2,000 cc. Flat tax for between 2,000 to 2,500, you pay $3 million. So 2 million for 2,000 cc and between 2,000 to 2,500 is 3 million. Then below 1,500 cc, we take off the VAT on that too. So there is a lot of people.
You don't come to your ministry. You know?
He didn't come here yet. They come here talk all day, but they ask any question. The ministry, so we have some big things in the ministry. So energy, power generation, solar, 100, on the energy sector, we got 119.4 billion. So some of that is with gas to energy, 10.7 to finish the gas to energy project control center that I was explaining earlier. But then we also have some monies to deal with aviation. We have 3.2 billion for the Terminal 2 at CGI. You know that 433% thereabout increase in passenger travel. You had to build a new terminal. We can't, the small terminal there outgrew itself. Plenty of people, close to 1 million persons, 972,000, close to 1 million people went through the airport last year. Every year it's going up. And as economic activity continues in Guyana and continue to have this level of buoyancy, you'll have that level of travel happening and increased travel. So you got to cater for that. So we are doing that. In the maritime sector, we are dredging the Demerara and the Berbice. You hear bauxite talk about Berbice and bauxite. Normally you have about 7 ships moving bauxite up and down the Demerara River every day now. We had to dredge the river. That's not just for bauxite, it's for cargo ships. 80% of the world cargo moved by ships. That's UN data and Indar data. Guyana no different. Anything you don't manufacture and you consume, we import. All of the packaged goods, canned goods, all of those pasteurized goods so that we don't produce here. Everything comes in, all your consumable, down to the match that you use to light the stove or whatever you use to light the stove, we bring in. So how it comes in via sea, most of it. So we got to dredge the port because right now we got about 6.5, 7 meters depth. You need more to bring in the bigger vessels. Because if you have a vessel bring in containers, let's say you're coming from China, and it brings 120 containers, making that journey. And you can get a vessel in here that brings 3 times that size, the same journey. It means to say you cut the unit cost of freight. And when you cut that, the landed price here goes down because remember, taxes are calculated on CIF value, cost, insurance, and freight. So if that value is low, your taxable amount that goes on that is low, that means that you can sell your things in the market and the shelf lower, maintaining your same margins. As an importer, you can resell it lower. So it is designed to bring down cost. Everything is designed to bring down costs. Same thing with the energy. We say we want to cut your costs. It's to reduce cost of living. Right? Water, the same thing. Right? We want to reduce, when we talk about education, you don't have to pay for it. Health, you don't have to pay for it. Once you don't go in your pocket, it reduces your cost of living. Look at fuel. In the budget that we just normally take off the tax, the excise tax on fuel because market prices were relatively high for a number of years. And we did not want to add tax to further hurt the Guyanese consumer when it comes to fuel. So we removed it. It cost about $100 billion. That is money that people didn't have to pay, government absorbed that. And just the market price as it reached here, landed price, and they sell it at the pump. That's why Guyana have one of the lowest cost of fuel at the pump. There was a study done on it. Those are the things that, you know, we don't jump and clap about all the time, but that is what we do to make sure the cost of living is kept in check. Because you have so much going on. You have so much going on in the world with freight prices increase, with imported inflation. You have all them things going on. So we in Guyana, what we did is use what you call a pre-COVID freight rate to calculate your taxes assessable when you import goods. It means to say if the container, to bring a container from China to Guyana was $3,300 prior to COVID, after COVID things went like this. It reached till to $21,000 to bring that very same container. So what we have done as a government is reduce the freight rate to pre-COVID level, so your cost, insurance, and freight become a smaller figure. Therefore, your taxes that you paid on the goods that you imported was a lower figure, making the cost for land your goods here, whether it's raw material, finished goods, packaged goods, whatever it is, cheaper. So that we control local, we don't import that inflation into the country.
This is your 5th appearance on this show, and I think I should have gone in a certain direction in those 4 previous shows. And so I take this opportunity now because I think journalistically I should have done that. Tell us a little, I've never asked you this, and maybe so many viewers would want to know. Tell us about your life. Where were you born? Where did you grow up? Your schooling? Were you a bad boy in school? Fighting in the schoolyard? Tell us about, let's move away a little bit from the formalities of politics and governance and talk about that. Yeah. I never asked you that.
You know, they accuse me of not smiling much, but you made me smile, right? So, it's going to be a long... How much time do I have to tell you?
Huh?
How much time do I have in this show to tell you about that?
You don't worry about that. You just talk, man. You talk. So, don't restrict yourself. Talk. So, when it's time to go, we'll go.
So I was born and raised in Vredenhoop in New Road. There was a yard there that had about 11 houses in it. And my mother, she hailed from Essequibo Coast. She was raised in a place called Golden Fleece Estate. And then she came and she had her husband, and they had 8 children. And the gentleman died. And my mother used to do, she was a TSU rank. She used to do guard work. So she used to work by the silo in the guard hut there in the nights, in Rumsick. And she met my father there, because my father is from Rumsick. And, well, obviously, he came to live with her in New Road. And I am a result, and my other brother is a result of that relationship.
There's just 2 siblings, you and your brother?
No, my mother had 8 children before. So
yeah.
my father
From
helped.
that guy, yeah.
So my father now, he helped her with 2 more. So it's 10 children my mother had. Mm-hmm. But when I was 2 years old, he left Guyana. And we never know about him after. So I grew up with my mother and my family. Very, very, very poor place, New Road. We didn't hope actually, Christmas time, I always go back there. Diwali time, I go back there to meet the folks still there, because some of them still live there. But my life wasn't one where I had anything. We had nothing. We had no father. We had no inheritance. We lived based on what my mother worked. My mother worked at one time 4 domestic jobs and then worked in a night security job.
Is she alive?
No, she died when I was 17 years old.
Okay.
So at the age of 17, now I don't have I never had a father that I knew.
And at 17, you don't have
my mother. So I had nobody to sit me down and tell me what to do with life, how to be educated, nothing. I had to learn off my own. I could tell you, one of the things that helped me out is reading the Bible. Because right where I live in New Road, across from the thing, it was a Wesleyan church. And the pastor there and his wife, they were very kind to me. They gave me free maths lessons, and I wrote my CXC in the early days when I was 12, and I got St. Stanislaus College. And I went to St. Stanislaus. Obviously, the school had some teachers they put together. They bought a bag for me. I got a stipend from the TSU. My mother got that, and they put that together, and they bought the uniform and so for me to go to Saints. But that 5 years in Saints wasn't easy, you know. Transportation was hard. So I used
What year was that?
I went to Saints in 1992 and I left in 1997.
Okay.
So those 5 years was tough. We used to use the ferry sometimes the speedboat, because you had to pay for the ferry. And the speedboat, sometimes we sit on the backrest and everybody give you. The president too, he knows about that. President went through similar things there too.
Yeah, he's from West Coast.
Yeah, right there. President did the same kind of thing. We used to get free drop. Them boys used to help us out at the speedboat at Freedom Hoop there. But it was a difficult upbringing.
What school you
But
been
it was
to?
a lovely upbringing. I was happy. I was humble. I was the things that, you know, people accuse me differently these days. But although it was poor, we had good family life. There were a lot of kids, my cousins, neighbors. We live off of the neighbor fruits tree. You know, whether it's the apple, mango, punky apple, coconut tree, we'll just live. You know, our houses wasn't bigger than this office. In fact, this office space might be the land footprint where the house is from. This same office here. It wasn't upstairs, it was like
So
4 blocks.
The older siblings didn't take care of you?
So what happened, it was tough for everybody. My brother, I had a couple of other brothers, they married and they went off. I had my sister, who is still alive, that when my mother died, she literally took care of me. She's like a second mother to me. Her name is Roxanne. I love her to death. She cooked for me, she took care of us, you know. And then I had a brother. His name is Ganesh, but everybody knows him as Giant Wire. So he used to go to West Dem school, and at a very young age, I think he was 13 or 14, he went to my mother and said, I need to leave school to help you take care of the rest of us. Because we're poor, very poor. So he came out of school and he went and worked. He used to sell parch nuts on the streets. And, dal puri and so he used to walk and sell with a tray to help my mother. And then he got a job at, I think it was Ravina's. That time, you have Ravina's.
Yeah.
He got a
hotel
job.
store with similar
Yes,
names,
he had a job. He got a job in the bag bay there. When you go in the store, you used to put your bags. So he got a job there. And whatever little he used to work at that time, he used to give my mother. And, we went through those years tough. But when my mother died, and so there were a couple of years I used to work with the Buster Company here as an accounts clerk. Because I got some good CXC, over 8 subjects. So I worked for them for a couple of years, and they promoted me as an operations manager. And I went to Barbies to work for 1 year. Fruta, Boston, all those companies, So I used to manage a small operation in Berbice, and it was killing my life. I used to leave here, go up there, work, come down. It was literally killing, and I was studying too. So I used to come back, study, go home, go back every day. Like, it was killing me out. So when I qualified CAT, I asked them that, I want to resign. And I worked at forestry for 2 years. From 2002 to 2004, I was the assistant accountant there. And in that 2 years, I finished ACCA. And then Sterling hired me as their finance controller and company secretary. And for 18 years, I stayed at Sterling. And I developed my life and my social standing and my education. That's why I can see all them things on the wall. At Sterling, I studied every single thing there. So when I was about 27, I had ACCA. I finished CGA from Canada. I did a specialization of certified internal audit out to the US. Then I did my first degree at Oxford Brookes University. Then I did my master's degree at University of East London. Then I did my risk management exam in the US. And then recently, about 10 years ago, recent as 10 years ago, I got CPA from Canada. And I said, let me just park that for now. I ain't able to go behind anything else. Let me just take my knowledge as much as I can and try to help my countryman and woman. I didn't let them pack up and go nowhere. A lot of people did. I could have gone anywhere in the world.
Yeah, that's commendable. That's commendable. In
in
one of these interviews that we had in the past, you showed me your other half. So how you met her?
I met her when I was very young. I was 25. I met her in Puerto Rico. She's from Puerto Rico. So I met her there, and one thing led to another, and I got 2 kids. Actually, with the
2? It's 10 of you.
No, I got 2 kids.
No, but it's 10 of you. You want it should have been about 6 or 8. You from this 10 of you. You don't want to reproduce the 10.
Freddie, you see all them gray hair you got on there? I want to keep a little black on my hair too, man. You want misery likes company, My kids are actually in the boardroom there. They just came by to say hello.
You went to Saints, and Saints got a nice basketball court.
Yeah, I learned, but I was short. I used to take advantage of me, but I love basketball,
What about cricket?
You know
I never
how
was
short.
a cricket man. I used to play basketball a lot because we used to have it in where Best Hospital is. There was a piece of road there. We used to convert it into a half court, and we used to play there. The neighborhood, everybody from.
I saw the president showing some shots.
The president,
but
the
he
president,
went to Saints too, right?
Yeah, the president was a cricket man too. President, a debate man. Don't get that. President was a bad debate man. I know him from there too.
So
he was a class ahead of mine.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's been a while. It's been a while.
So you didn't play football for Saints or cricket?
No. I was not athletic kind of guy. You know what I did in Saints? Play rap and roll. I was a little roughneck.
Right.
But during like holidays and so, what I would have done, I had a brother-in-law who used to do construction, and so I used to join him. I used to get a little stipend, so that would have helped me buy my school uniform year on year going down. So, Saints was nice. Up to now, I met my best friends from Saints. It's
You could play rap good? Because I grew up in Double Street in the streets playing rap.
I could play rap.
Let's have a 10 game, and whoever reached 10 first, but you will have to be more generous than me. I will tell you what I want.
Bro,
right. We're doing a 10-game rap thing, right?
I'm going to take you on.
Good, right. I can reach 10 before you even reach 3.
Bring the cameras,
Trust me, the way I grew up, I'm a rap genius. But anyway, let's get back into politics. Azuddin Mohammed, when you were in the campaign, where was you saw him? How was this guy how was he able to, what became of the PNC during the campaign? The man stole 16 seats from them.
Well, you can have different analysis of what happened, and you can try and justify what happened with all different kind of analogies, but I just think that they allowed him to come and do whatever he did. When we saw him, and when the General Secretary of the party said it in his press conference, that he is going into APNU areas, AFC areas, and they are helping him to go into the areas.
Yeah.
They are helping him to mobilize.
Facilitated the man.
Yeah, so there is clear evidence that they facilitated him. So if you have your household and somebody walk in your house and pick up your child and walk out, you going to put up a fight, man? You going to put up a fight, man? They didn't put up a fight. So they reduced 12 seats in the parliament. They did not put up a fight. I never seen none of them came out against him on the campaign trail. Never. And if they did, it was such a small, lukewarm, like a little, and go along. So whatever happened was a result of that, right? You can't say he take away votes from we because we grew.
No, right, of course, he didn't.
We grew.
I went through the statements of Poe 3 times. I met the president last week, and I told him that I went through the statements of Poe 3 times. He should look at the statement of Poe. He said he did. And I said, you should be proud of yourself. The man got multiracial votes that in no other elections was it so pronounced.
Because it is all goes back to the policy, the style, and the heart of the president. So, in the People's Progressive Party, and you are an old politician, Leonard, you too, right? I'm young to y'all. In the heart of the party's pro-poor policy, most on all of the things that we do is concentrated to benefiting people. Listen, the Bible tell you do that, man.
Why you don't correct the minister? You're not that old.
The Bible said do that, Every religious text said do that, Help the poor, help the blind, help the maimed, help the fatherless, those who are downtrodden. The weak in society, the voiceless. That's the budget speaks to every vulnerable group. Yeah. Our policy in the party drives that philosophy. Look, Leonard, who was an example of labor for wage? Jesus Christ. He was the son of a carpenter. He was a carpenter. He worked for your money, worked for your gains. Since when we are a nation only depending on certain things? No, when we were growing up, you had anything like cash grant? You had anything like free education in terms of university and all. A lot of things that you're getting now, we couldn't afford it in those times. So we have to make do. We have to work to develop ourselves, work to educate ourselves. We have to put in the effort as an individual. When your obituary is being written, it can't be that you just collected or you just gotten stuff. You had to. When your obituaries are written, when people talk about you, they'll talk about what you did, what you went through, how you approached it, what you did to get by, how you have elevated, what did you leave behind. It's effort they reflect on, what you did. So I guess going back to the question about, what happened in the elections, everybody got a different view. Some people say the timing, some people saying that the win party, the timing of it, was advantageous to him to move those votes over to him. But look at the AFC who had all of them out. Yeah. They didn't even get a seat in Parliament. Not one seat.
Another third party, Amanzo Walton forward Guyana, got more seats in the AFC.
No, she got a left back vote. Yeah. Let me make it clear. She got the left back vote and that went to her party. Let me make that clear. Because I heard she making some serious overtures down there about like if she's controlling, she's the one and only, she's the best thing since sliced bread and golden cream margarine. She got left back vote, that's how she ended up in Parliament. Right?
I told a relative that I'm coming to have an interview with you, and I was asked to ask you a specific question.
Right.
He said he don't really believe that anything could reduce the electricity bill. Can you give him and other Guyanese assurance that electricity bill will be reduced, that you can see it on your bill, that your bill is actually going down when the gas to energy comes into effect?
Well, I will give it the commitment that not just from me, the party that I belong to, the president that I serve, has said it in a manifesto publicly. The president went when he addressed everybody at Arthur Chong the other day. What was that day? The 17th of December?
I think probably the 19th.
No, the 17th. The 18th and the 19th was the outreach region. The 17th. The president went there. This is the president of the whole country and the minister responsible to get it done. But the president of the whole country didn't go in a little room with 10, 20 people. He called everybody, the country was everybody, the diplomatic community, everybody, private sector, everybody. And he went on national television, live stream it, and made that commitment to Guyanese people that it will go down. So tell the gentleman that he must take our word for it. That there is nothing that we said we were going to do that we didn't do. Everything that we said we did in the last 5 years, we set out to do in the last week, we did all. And more. Now we have a new manifesto, we are already kicking off on it. This budget is a reflection of taking those promises and making them reality by putting money in all of the different programs to kickstart some of them. Some of the capital ones and some of the current projects in terms of the promises that we made in 2025. So when we say something, you're not speaking to avoid. When we say something, we know we're going to do. That's why we don't make promises that are airy-fairy that we can't deliver. We leave that for the other parties to do. They make promises when they know they can. They're very well knowing that they can't deliver it. Sustainably, they can't deliver it, and the economics does not support some of the promises that they're making. We don't do that. That's not the philosophy. Right? So tell the gentleman, he doesn't just have my commitment, he have the government's commitment, and he have the People's Progressive Party, the party's commitment, because that is what is in the written manifesto that were launched by the party too. Right? So any more other commitment than that, I don't think I can give you unless you wait and see it when it happens. That you see the tariff was at one point, and then with the introduction of the new power plant, because what is happening with the new power plant, we'll be producing power around 5 cents US per kilowatt hour.
The gas, is it that pipelines will be run like water pipeline to deliver gas to people's homes?
No, we have not gone there as yet. Yeah. There is where we are with the gas. So offshore to Crane, there's a pipeline here. And then there's another 12-25 kilometers from Crane where it lands there by Mary to take into the backland still to Wales. So right now if you go to Wales at the power plant, you will see the gas pipeline coming up there with all of the controls that is just waiting there for when the plant is finished to feed that gas into the natural gas liquefaction plant that's going to strip out all the impurities and then feed these turbines to power. So the gas is running there. So this is a dry power. It's not for, we have not, that discussion has not been had as yet to run it so when you have it in your house.
From the same.
Well, I don't, based on the size of that pipeline, and what we're going to use the gas for, it will be utilized there, that pipeline. Either for, well, we can do in power plant there, right? As you know, we have an RFP out, which is a request for proposal, for those who know the acronym, for a gas bottling and logistics company that will put, should be designed using that very gas, the excess gas, to make cooking gas. So we intend to make about 3 million per annum. That is the design parameters, 3 million per annum of 20-pound gas, right? Which works out to some 8,300 bottles a day, right? Then you have fertilizer and a urea plant. We already went to the RFP for that, the request for proposal, to do about 300,000 tons of fertilizer, because you know natural gas is actually a main input into making fertilizer, right? And when COVID happened and so on, and the air freight rates and so on, and fuel price went up globally, because natural gas is used to make fertilizer, and the fertilizer prices went up. So our farmers suffered from it. So if we can produce it here because we have it, why not? Why not? So that is why those two projects are out there. The RFP are out there, closing sometime shortly.
Operator signal, we got 2 minutes left. So let me remind you of a statement that has now become famous by the U.S. ambassador to Guyana, the previous one. She said publicly it costs less for a flight from Guyana to Miami than from Guyana to visit Kaieteur Falls.
Yeah.
You in charge now of aviation.
Yes.
You foresee a gradual falling.
So, you know,
I haven't seen Kaieteur Falls.
So I got to sorry. So, but you know, she is. Let me just tell you. when we came into government, we had 4 airlines. We had Suriname, Caribbean, American Airlines, and another one. 4 of them. I keep forgetting the other one. Right? 4 of them. Caribbean. I said Caribbean? Caribbean, Suriname, American, and Coco. Those are the 4. Now we have 16 from different places. But as the airline's capacity goes up, so does the traveling public goes up. So what we continue to do is get more and more airlines to run different routes. So the American airline runs the Miami route like all the time, right? Every day they have flights, someday they have 2 flights. And because that route is, the demand there is so much, the price is really going up. So how price comes down is when you introduce competition everywhere. That's how price goes down. It's like the local guys then. They don't want to reduce their prices. You know how much years is fighting and battling with them guys. So as we start to build out these interland air things, they used to complain that the landing gears break up because of the whole air strips. So as we do fix that, they said they're going to drop the price. And 4 of them drop the price. One started, and the next one started, and the other one, and the other one. So
it's going to be cheaper to go to Kaishore than to go to Miami. Let's hope so. Listen, the operator signal, our time has come. We have an agreement to do that 10-lap bet.
Yeah.
Good. Listen, it's always good talking to you. This is your 5th appearance. I look forward to a couple more before 2026 is over.
Yeah, man. You got a lot to talk about. Thank you. Thank you.
You've been watching one of the most interesting interviews we've recently had with Minister of Public Utilities and Aviation, Minister of Public Utilities and Aviation. I repeat that because it's a new ministry, Minister Indar Deodat. Have a very pleasant Wednesday evening. On behalf of Leonard Craig, thanks for being with us, and on behalf of the Minister. Catch you later. Bye-bye.